Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Today Outside, the show where we review things that are outside. I'm your host Fred Melendez, and on today's episode, we are reviewing vines. As you can see here, we have some vines that are climbing up a tree. I'm not sure what type of vines they are. The leaves kind of look kind of like maple leaves, but like a stunted form. And these are just an example of vines. They go pretty far up into the tree. Now the whole point of vines are that the plant spends its time and energy creating structural formations, and the vine, what it does, rather than sit on the ground like a shrub or a bush or something, the vine will climb rocks, or it'll climb other trees or plants, and it will use them as a step up to get to the sunlight. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty ingenious of the vine. So, as you know, some famous vines are grapevines. Grapevines are used a lot, especially to make wine, and you need grapes from the grapevine, and then you can also get raisins from that, which is cool. So yeah, vines are pretty great, but sometimes vines also suck. For example, not all plants are specifically vines. Some of them are bushes, and given the opportunity, or shrubs, and given the opportunity, they become vines. One of those plants is poison ivy. Nobody likes poison ivy. Nobody likes them as shrubs or vines, and so you got to be careful with that. Here's an example of some dead vines that have, as you can see, the way it grew wrapped around this metal and used it as a support system to get closer to the sunlight, and that's just so cool to me. But that being said, yeah, we don't like vines when they're poison ivy. That's just not cool. Another kind of downfall, not all vines do this. Some plants are just there to be, vine plants, like for example, the Japanese honeysuckle. That's a vine, and they do the same thing where they find structures, grow down it or up it or around it, hold on to it, so they don't have to spend any extra energy on reaching the sun when they need it. Its whole deal is getting to the perfect spot. Here's some other vines. I don't really know what these vines are either, but they're pretty cool. They might be honeysuckles, actually. I know we do get honeysuckles back here sometime. And so most vines, they're just types of plants. And I found out something interesting in the English islands, as it said on Wikipedia. Vines specifically refer to grapevines and the vines that you use to make wine. If they're not grapevines, they're called climbers, which is, that makes sense. But I feel like you're giving the grapevine too much credit, because like the honeysuckle, I feel like it's a vine. That's not a climber. What is that? Some vines, unfortunately, they kind of are bad for the trees that they climb on, in the sense that certain species of vines will actually leech off of the trees. So they'll wrap around the tree and they'll constrict it, and they'll pull energy from the tree. So not only are they getting closer to the sun, but they're also stealing and sapping the tree's energies. So that's not really cool of vines. But other than that, the fact that, if you're looking at a building and it's got vines covering it, that's so cool. That's such a rustic look. Minus the rust. You just have cool vines on it. And they're really good for, covering certain areas. You get like a couple of sticks, throw some plants down, and boom, you got a vine wall. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, but not a fan of the vines of poison ivy, and I love honeysuckles. That's pretty cool. And I'm also not a fan of how vines kind of are parasitic to, not all species, but some are just specifically parasitic to other plants. That's not cool. So anyway, we sent some vines to our researchers and our scientists. They pumped it into the arbitrary rating system, and vines got a 6.7 out of 10. I imagine they got some ups, because without vines there would be no song, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and that's such a good song. And there would be no wine, there'd be no honeysuckles, but also without vines there would be no poison ivy. So you got to kind of take the good with the bad. So that's why vines get a 6.7 out of 10 on today's episode. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and tune in tomorrow for some more awesome reviews of things that happen to be outside. Have a great day. Bye.